when I hear our first reading this afternoon out of St. Paul, here's what I hear. Imagine that you're sitting at home playing Monopoly with some of your friends. And you're playing Monopoly and you're kind of gaining Monopoly money and you're getting some of the properties and things are going all right. And then it's revealed halfway through that you are on a secret TV show and you are able, for this moment alone, to spend Monopoly money to buy real things in the outside real world. So you can take the money from the game and you can buy a new car. You can buy a trip to the Bahamas. You can buy a real get out of jail free card. Mark? Right. And think how quickly that would change the game, and think how little you would actually care about getting all the utility squares in the game. And your goal would basically be to spend as much Monopoly money as you can to buy real things in the real world outside before the game ends, right? Because by the time the game ends, your Monopoly money is worthless. And imagine how foolish somebody would be to actually genuinely play Monopoly at that point and try to get all the properties and win the game and be all really proud. Because when the game ends, he goes home with nothing but his pride, and you go home with a Range Rover and a trip to Bali and all kinds of real great stuff, right? That person, even though they won, they didn't really understand the game that they were playing. Right? St. Paul in our reading tells us that we are in that very game. We are in that Monopoly game. That we only have a certain amount of time, and once the game ends, everything inside the game really isn't worth a whole lot. Right? And all the wealth of this world and the power and the influence and the fame and the beauty, right? It's kind of like Monopoly money. And if we hoard it only for this life alone, we kind of misunderstand the opportunity that we've been given. And the goal of the game is not to, cling to as much Monopoly money as I can, but to spend my Monopoly money on what will endure after this game is over. Our goal in this life is not to gain money, power, prestige, influence, but it's to use what I've been given in this short time to purchase, right? Or to gain for myself the benefit of salvation, which remains forever, right? And when this game ends and all the Monopoly money passes away, I've still got the trip to Bali, right? So St. Paul says, "For we brought nothing into the world, just as we shall not be able to take anything out of it. If we have food and clothing, we shall be content with that. Those who want to be rich are falling into temptation and into a trap." There's not so much anything wrong with money in itself. We all need money for food, for clothing, for a home. But to hoard money as the thing that is the purpose of my life is to misunderstand the game that we're playing. He says, "But you, man of God, avoid all this. Instead, pursue righteousness, devotion, faith, love, patience, and gentleness. Compete well for the faith. Lay hold of eternal life." Brothers and sisters, let us, with real clear and open eyes, understand the great opportunity we've been given. We get to spend Monopoly money and buy real things, right? We get to spend our time on this earth working for that which endures, living my life even here and now in a heavenly way, where I begin to work towards my salvation, my virtue, and my love, right? Which when all other things pass away, St. Paul tells us, love alone remains. Therefore, this evening, let us draw close to this altar, right? To this fountain of love, to the very source and the one who endures when all other things pass away. And let us cling to him, let us draw close to him, and let us gain for ourselves the prize of eternal life.